Just look at him and tell me, is this guy a scary person? When a simple man can kill 5 people in just 16 seconds, you must be wondering, what is the story? Who is he really, and why is he hiding himself from everyone, despite being a scary person? If you watch this thrilling action thriller movie, I am sure you will also surprised and shocked. I was talking about the movie The Equalizer, released in 2014. This movie is one of my very favorite movies. It features one of my favorite heroes, Denzel Washington. So, get ready to watch this mind-blowing action thriller movie with a like right away. So, without further ado, let's start our explanation today. At the beginning of the movie, we are introduced to the main character of this movie, Robert. He looks like a very ordinary man, but he has a serious disease. He is very disciplined in everything. He runs like clockwork. Even if the world turns upside down, his time never turns around. He works in a shopping mall and is a very popular person among his colleagues. Robert had a special task every night. He would take a tea bag from home, wrap it in a cloth, and go to a nearby restaurant. There, he would read a book every day and drink tea. Robert would meet a girl there every day, named Elena. She was a one-night stand prostitute by profession. They didn't talk much, but today Elena asked him, "How far along are you in your book reading?" Robert said, "It's almost the end." Then Elena got a call from her agent. The Russian agent told her, "I've sent a customer, you meet him." The customer was huge, fat, and disgusting. So Elena said, "I can't go with this ugly person." But there was no more saying no in this line. So she was forced to go with that man. Robert kept following the whole thing. The next night, Robert came to the restaurant again and met Elena. But today, there were many bruises on her face. Robert said, "Who made you like this?" Elena said, "These things are actually common in this line." Robert said, "You leave this line and take a good path." Elena said, "The way in here is very easy, but the way out is very difficult." Then they left the restaurant and started walking. Outside, on the way, they talked a lot about Robert's personal life with Elena. Robert said that he had a wife, but she left him today. In the middle of their conversation, a car came and beat Elena and put her in the car. The person who beat her was the broker whose name was Slavy. Slavy saw Robert and gave them a card and said, "This girl is out of control. If you call me, I will give you a better girl than this." Saying this, he left from there. That moron did not understand who he was talking to and left. The next night, Robert went to the restaurant again. But today, he did not see Elena again. The owner of the restaurant told him, someone must have beaten Elena so badly that she was sent to the ICU in the hospital. Hearing this, Robert became very worried, because within a few days, he had developed a feeling for the girl. So he went to the hospital to look for Elena. When Robert went there, he saw that Elena's condition was very bad. She had been beaten so much that her entire face was ruined. Robert then saw one of Elena's friends, and when he went to her to ask how Elena was, her friend Mandy got very scared and said, "Who are you?" Robert then said that he was Elena's friend. Mandy is somewhat reassured and says, "Slavy did this." To force her to send her to the client, Slavy raises his hand on her, and then Elena hits him too, because of which Slavy hits Elena like crazy and pours battery acid in her face, so that no one else can disobey him seeing Elena in this condition. Hearing this, Robert starts preparing himself inside. He starts thinking about, would he will go back to his previous life again? Would he show who he really is again? Then the movie shifts to Slavy's hideout. There, Robert comes and gets the address of the card he has, which Slavy gave him the other night. Robert gives Slavy $9,800 and says, "Keep this money and free Elena for life." Slavy laughs at these words and doesn't go to Yabba. He then says, "With this money, I can give you her for a maximum of 1 month. And if you sign up for this line, then come, because there is a good demand for black people in this line." Robert was listening to all this with a cool head. He scanned the room and all the hitmen in one go. Who has what weapon, who is sitting where, he calculated all the details in his head. Then, slowly closing the door of the room, Robert said, "It will take me a maximum of 16 seconds to kill these idiots." And with this, he started the stopwatch on his watch. Now it was a tough game. With all the plans set in his mind, he started killing bodies one by one in an instant. He shot Slavy with the gun from a guy there, and he cut off another person's throat with his own knife. He took out one of the public's eyes with a tequila shot, and inserted the last one straight into the chin with a champagne corkscrew. And in this way, it took him only 28 seconds to kill all 5 people. If you subtract 9 seconds from that, the killing time was only 19 seconds. No, it was 3 seconds longer. And let me tell you, the vision here was amazing. So, do you like the movie? If you like it, then please everyone complete 20,000 likes. If you all give 1 like, then the job will be done easily. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, then quickly click the subscribe button and complete that too. Please. The next day, he returned to work very normally, and he didn't seem to remember that he sent 5 people upstairs last night. Meanwhile, when Robert got home, he heard the news of the 5 people being killed. He realizes that things are going to go a long way now. Meanwhile, a terrible Russian agent named Teri arrives in the city. Teri sees the style of the beating. Their people are killed very brutally. Seeing this style of beating, Teri understands that this is not the work of an ordinary person, but rather, the one who did this must be a very trained person, as seen in the Army or Navy SEALs. Teri now has a meeting with some corrupt police in the city. There, a policeman named Frank starts belittling him, but Teri was something else. He explains to him, "I'm not here to tell you to please, I'm here to give you orders." On the other hand, Robert sees that one of his favorite colleagues, Ralphie, has not come to work. He goes to his house and sees that his mother's shop caught fire last night, and he has not come to work today. Seeing the style of the fire, Robert understands that this is not an accident, but someone deliberately set fire here. So he says to Ralphie, "What's the real story?" Then Ralphie said that some police officers in this area were taking bribes from them. When they failed to pay them last night, they did this. Hearing this, Robert understood what he had to do now. That night, the 2 bribe-taking police officers appeared at Ralphie's shop again. On the way to collect the bribe from there, Robert told them, "Leave these things." Thinking him to be poor fellow, they started to bullying him. But Robert then gave them a lesson in such a way that in 5 seconds they learned who Robert actually is. They later returned the money they had taken from everyone. Meanwhile, Teri went to a contractor to find Slavy's murderer. The contractor started abusing Teri, calling him a Russian stupid boy. But the guy didn't know what Teri was, so after a while Teri started to rub his nose and mouth. This time, Teri found Elena's friend. Teri asks her, "Do you know Elena?" Her friend lies that she doesn't know Elena, but looking at the girl's face and eyes, Teri realizes that the girl is lying. Teri is now called the head of the entire syndicate, whose name is Pushkin. When Pushkin asks him for an update on his work, Teri says, "I've never seen such a killing in my life. The person who committed the murder is no ordinary public figure. And to my knowledge, I don't think anyone in our entire network has the skills to do so." Pushkin then urges him to find the killer quickly, but Teri says he'll be able to catch him in a few days. Then Teri goes to Elena's friend. When he goes there, he asks her cool mind and learns that a black man came here that day to meet Elena, but she couldn't tell him his name. When what Teri knows is known, he grabs the girl by the throat and kills her. Teri shows his boys a picture of Robert and says, "This is the killer who killed our man, so keep finding out all the details about him." In the next scene, a robber sneaks into the shopping mall where Robert works and tries to steal money from the cash counter. Robert quietly gives him the money. But when the robber tries to take the money and a ring from a girl which is gave by her mother, Robert's power mode activates. But when he sees a little boy there, he controls his brain and takes the ring from the girl's hand and gives it to him. But the boy doesn't know who he's messing with. Robert follows him, checks his license plate, and gets a hammer ready to break his arms and legs. Then, when the girl returned to the counter, she found the ring on her table, and Robert wiped his hammer with a handkerchief and put it back in its place. It is understood that Robert had given some medicine in every part of that robber's body with that hammer. In the next scene, Teri appears at Robert's house. There, he introduces himself as a detective and starts talking to Robert calmly. Seeing Robert's eyes, Teri can't help but think, this is the guy who ate everyone together. And Robert also understands that he is not an agent or a policeman. So he directly asks, "How did you find me? I didn't leave any footprints anywhere." Teri then says, "Our job is to find people." Robert then says, "Whose this is us, that's what I want to know." When Teri leaves without saying anything, while going downstairs and getting into the car, he says, "Everything we knew about this guy is wrong. He is not an ordinary guy." So he sends the entire team to find that guy. He comes with his complete information and says, "This guy has no criminal record. He pays taxes properly. He does a good job. He lives a very ordinary life." Teri says, "Everything is arranged. He must have been in the military. Otherwise, you can never hide your entire information like that." Meanwhile, Robert starts setting up cameras in different parts of his house. Along with that, he brings some evidence there. Even if someone comes to this house, they will not be able to find out any information. In fact, Robert was a person whose old record did not exist in the whole world. Then Teri sends a man to Robert's that restaurant, where he goes regularly. because they need proof with their own eyes that this guy is the one who killed their boys. When the hitman introduced himself as a powerline man and ordered something, Robert easily understood and said, "If you were a public figure who fixed the power line, you would have scratch in your hand. Actually, you came here for me, right?" Seeing that the poor man had been caught, he moved towards Robert with his gun. Robert turned on his famous stopwatch and scanned him once as if to make sure how to kill him. That's it. In just a few seconds, Robert hit him twice with the book in his hand, and the poor man's red tears came out of his mouth. Meanwhile, Teri and his men were watching all this, but before they could see the real scene, a car drove up there and deprived them of this wonderful view. Robert then cut the hotel's power line after killing the jerk, and he left the restaurant, took a few pictures of Teri with his phone, and left there. Then Teri, along with his associates, followed Robert to his house. Robert realizes and runs away from there, but he goes to another building and takes a good look at everyone with the camera he has set up. The next morning, Robert goes to someone's house to meet an old friend of his, and that's where we understand Robert's real identity. Basically, Robert was a secret agent. Now, the job of secret agents was to make all their identities or data disappear from the whole world after the mission. After such a mission, he also sets himself up as dead by causing a fake car blast to erase his identity forever, so that no police or mafia have any data of his name. His two friends help him to do all these things, and only they know that Robert is still alive. Here, Robert shows Teri's picture to his friend Suzanne. The next day, Suzanne gives him detailed information about Teri. Suzanne says, Teri is a terrible Russian soldier who is a right hand for this mafia boss Pushkin. Pushkin, sitting in Russia, runs his liquor, gambling, and prostitution business all over America. His political power is so high that no one can even lift a finger at him. Suzanne tells him, "You are trapped in a very big trap. I want you to stay away from all this." Then Robert leaves Suzanne. Suzanne's husband then asks, "Did we manage to do the help he came for?" Suzanne then says, "Robert didn't come here for help. He came to ask permission to end this gang. He gets permission. Now it's time to end the gang." So Robert's first step was to straighten out the dogs in his own country. For this, he goes to Frank, the corrupt police officer. There, he puts him in a car and starts his car, but he fits the gas pipe of the car into the car. And Robert then closes all the windows of his car and starts giving him a nice gas therapy. Unable to bear the gas therapy, Frank then accepted everything Robert said. And they went to an illegal factory of this Russian group to give a raid. Robert's head was completely destroyed when he went there. They were such a big gang that more than 20 employees were hired there just to count dollars. There, Robert claimed to be Pushkin's man, but realizing that he was lying, a member of the gang pointed a gun at him. And here Robert showed a deadly skill and snatched the gun from his hand in just half a second, making him a hostage. Then Robert pointed the gun at his real machine and said, "Tell everyone to turn down their gun quietly. Otherwise your machine will be useless for life. After receiving such a tough threat, can you still be strong? Tell me." So they all surrendered. Robert then gave all the employees bundles of dollars and sent them away, and called 911 and informed about this factory. Then Robert took information from Frank about where all the data of this network is kept. Frank then gave information of a locker, and Robert went there and found many documents and a pen drive. That pen drive had all the transactions and mafia information. Robert then mailed all that data to the FBI. The police, when they arrive at the factory, their eyes fly to the sky when they saw the situation there. They see that there is a whole room full of dollars arranged in rows, and Robert has tied all the goons' hands and feet there. Then we see Teddy again with a huge Don. That Don then reassures Teddy and says, "All it takes is one of my boy is way more enough to catch this guy." Then he goes to the washroom to urinate, and shortly after, Robert comes there and puts the Don's sunglasses on the table in a broken state, and says, "I sent your Don upstairs, and he can never come back here." I mean, do you understand what Robert did to the Don who pretend to be more dangerous? Robert tells Teddy, "Now tell your boss Pushkin to stop all his activities by tonight, and this is my last offer to you." Saying this, he writes a mobile number on his paper and says, "I have done a lot of bad things in my life and for which I regret. Don't make me go to that line again." Here, Robert's attitude was worth watching. Meanwhile, Robert gets a lead. This mafia has a big oil business, so he goes there and destroys their entire dog. Seeing all this, Pushkin's head goes crazy. He calls Teddy and says, "I want this guy's dead body." Teddy then calls 3 of the toughest Russian hitmen. Teddy now sees a picture of Robert with Ralphie, and realizes that these may be these people close to Robert. So Teddy now makes everyone hostage in that shopping mall and calls Robert and says, "If you don't come in 30 minutes, everyone will be killed." Since Robert has no other option, he leaves for the shopping mall. Teddy sees his bus on the way and says to his boys, "Shot Robert as soon as you see him." But Robert is not inside the bus. He enters the shopping mall through another road and turns off all the lights and fans in the store and turns on some nice music. Seeing this, the gunman takes Ralphie to turn it off, and there, Robert cools the goon's head with his double punch. Ralphie, seeing Robert's brutality, gets completely shocked. Meanwhile, Robert calls a gunman to him with the walkie-talkie of the beaten goon. As a result, Robert kills him before he even realizes anything. He then tells Ralphie, "You take everyone and get out of here quickly, I'm taking care of them." Saying this, Robert starts turning off the main lights of the entire shopping mall and closes all the doors of the stores. Now the real game will begin. Robert started making various traps with the various items in the shop and started playing hide and seek like an assassin. With that master-level trap, Robert hanged a goon by the neck of the goon, and when another goon came there, he put a sharp blade in his throat, and then he also shot him. But Teddy saw him and shot him with the M4A1 he had with him, and Robert was shot. But Robert didn't have much of a problem with that. Then Robert killed one of them by drilling his head with a drill machine. This time he had to go through a lot of trouble to control the strongest hitman there, because he was twice as big as Robert. But with his extraordinary skills, he was finally able to kill him too. But by that time, Robert was seriously injured. And just then Ralphie appeared there and said, "You said to take everyone out, so I can't leave you and get out of here." With this, Ralphie tries to take the injured Robert out of there. But while leaving, a gunman shoots Ralphie. But Ralphie manages to get out of there with great difficulty. Then Robert puts some gas cylinders in a microwave and signals for the last hitman to come. As soon as the poor guy gets there, the entire gas cylinder explodes and kills him there. And now the real culprit, Teddy, is left. Teddy now comes to Ralphie to shoot him. But at that very moment, Robert uses a power tool gun from that shop and hits Teddy in the neck, meaning he hits his hands and feet, making him paralyzed. And with a final close headshot, Teddy is finished off right here. Then the movie cuts to Moscow, Russia 3 days later. There, it is seen that Pushkin, the boss of this mafia, has just gone to take a bath. But Robert arrives there, despite all this security. Seeing Robert, Pushkin said, "Have you come here to kill me? Tell me what you will gain by killing me." Robert then said, "If I kill you, I will gain peace." Pushkin then said, "In fact, the price of peace is very high. Even then, name a price. Let's see if I can give it to you." But before he could finish speaking, Robert turned off the light and disappeared. Pushkin then saw the water tap on his basin in turned on. And when he went to turn off the water tap, his hand touched the electric wire that Robert had set and received an electric shock for the last time in Pushkin's life. Yes, in the next scene, Robert is seen coming down from the building, and all the dead bodies of the bodyguards are lying around him. You can understand, he killed all the security men alone, and then went to Pushkin. My lord, I was also very surprised to see this scene. Finally, Robert's mission is over, so he returns to Boston and continues to lead a normal life as before. There, he meets Elena. Elena now says that now she has come to a very good life. Now she reads books, has a job, and seeing all this, Robert becomes very happy. Elena expresses her gratitude to Robert for changing her life. Meanwhile, in the very last scene, Robert is seen reading a book called The Invisible Man. At the same time, he is looking for a new job to reshape his identity. And this is where the movie ends. However, there is also a second part of the movie, which was released in 2018. We will soon be featuring the movie The Equalizer 2 feet on this channel. If you like the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Stay well, everyone. Thank you.